Before we get to the video, check out my Patreon linked in the description of this video, where for $5 a month you get exclusive content such as sneak peeks at projects like upcoming videos, dioramas, stop motions, photography. You'll get a shout out in videos like this one. I also take video requests. You can see behind the scenes of my stop motions in toy photography, as well as exclusive stop motions in photography. Again, you get all these perks on my Patreon for $5 a month. Link to join in the description of this video. Now let's get to it. Okay, you guys, so thank you for clicking on this video. As you can tell by the title, discussing something that has been a topic of debate in the Transformers community for a little while now. The greebling, the inconsistent sculpted details, the tech panel lines, whatever you want to call it, for the Studio Series 86 subline in the last few years. I wanted to tackle this topic because it's recently been brought up more so now since we got this Voyager Class 86 Seeker mold that was just revealed with Thundercracker here. And obviously this looks like one of the greatest Voyager Class figures and molds that Hasbro's ever produced for Chug, and that is like no debate at this point. It looks insane. There is a bit of a problem here and a bit of an inconsistency with the Studio Series 86 subline, and that's the details and the greebling on these figures being drastically different if you look at certain things and break some things down, which is what I'm going to do in this video. So sit on back, grab a snack, and listen to me ramble. So let's discuss the new Thundercracker here first. This guy, it's a great figure, but you could tell that they went ultra cartoon and movie accuracy in terms of the details, the surface details, and the sculpt of him. They didn't want to add too many tech panel lines or greebling to him. They just wanted to get straight to the point of the G1 cartoon accuracy of Thundercracker, and it looks great. But when you compare it to the likes of, say, let's pick something here. Let's start out with something a bit less obvious with a bit more leeway. Blaster. You look at Voyager Class Blaster, right? He's from the Kingdom toy line, so there is already a bit of a discrepancy. He's not from 86, so the details aren't as cartoony and crisp as certain 86 releases we've seen in the last couple years. Sure, but this is supposed to be a unified subline where all these characters and figures are supposed to go together. So you put Blaster next to Thundercracker, he obviously has a bit more sculpted detail and tech lines, whatever you want to call it, more so than he really should if we're comparing it to other characters like Thundercracker and especially his G1 cartoon design from the 80s. And this goes on with another character like characters like the Leader Class Dinobots. You look at all of them, Grimlock especially, but all of them sort of, I wouldn't say suffer from this, but just kind of have this glaring thing about them that they have a lot of tech lines and greebling to them, more so than they should from their G1 cartoon looks. And I don't know if that's because they have extra budget left over and they want to fill that up with extra sculpted details and line work. That could be the case. I wouldn't be surprised by that. But I don't know, it's kind of just an odd decision. You do that for the Dinobots, but you don't do that for somebody like Thundercracker or, any of the deluxe mini-bots that may have some leftover budget or something like that for some extra sculpt to it. It's kind of odd, because you look at Grimlock especially, he's got tech panel lines everywhere. It's almost to the point of, say, Siege Leader Class Shockwave in a way, but not as much, in my opinion. Even though I like the greebling on that Shockwave, it's still not as drastic, I'd say, as what they did with Shockwave on the Grimlock here. But, it is noticeable, because a lot of other figures don't have this sort of thing going on where they have all these extra sculpted details that aren't visible in their cartoon models. And this is also kind of present G1 Cup and Hot Rod. It's not as drastic as, say, the Dinobots to 86 Thundercracker, but it's noticeable. They have a bit more line work than what you see in a lot of the drawings from the G1 cartoon and the movie back in the day. And it's noticeable. I'm not hating on it. I'm not saying it's terrible, especially on Hot Rod. That figure is mwah, chef's kiss. But, you know, when you're trying to keep stuff in line with each other in terms of accuracy and details, it does fall into the wayside of, okay, there's a bit more extra greebling on these two than there really should be, especially if we're comparing it to Thundercracker here. And you look at somebody like, say, Commander Class Ultra Magnus. Wasn't he like the first Commander Class for Studio Series 2? But anyway, you look at him as well. He doesn't have as much greebling as the Dinobots or Cup or Hot Rod, and he is more expensive than all of those releases. He's $90. He's a commander, basically $100 now for counting the stupid 2026 price increases that just happened. But, you know, he's $90 to $100 now, and he has less detail than the Dinobots and Cup and Hot Rod, who are $25, $35, and $60 figures. I don't know what goes on into choosing and making the decisions of who has this greebling detail and who is a bit more plain and cartoon and movie accurate. It's really strange. Like, it's an inconsistency you wouldn't think Hasbro would have at this point, especially with one of your highest selling Transformers lines ever recently. And I don't know, it's kind of odd. It kind of makes you wonder, are they doing this on purpose to the point where, you know, certain figures, they can make the excuse of where they could resculpt certain surfaces or just make a brand new figure a couple years from now to keep the 86 line going, so they could be like, oh, here's one that's a bit more animation accurate that you could fit with your 86 Thundercracker or Ultra Magnus a bit better. Here's your new Cup and Hot Rod that have less greebling to it and have this fixed, or Cup has a wrist swivel now, or Cup is a Voyager class now, or Hot Rod has this fixed, or he doesn't have clear plastic, or whatever, you know? Stuff like that where it's kind of obvious where they're marketing it to where, you know, it's more improved than the previous version. I don't know if that is an example that you could throw out there. That could be the case, but I mean, you look at another one like, say, the Van mold of Ratchet and Ironhide. That one is another sort of smooth figure. It doesn't really have a whole lot of greebling details on it compared to the Dinobots or Cup or Hot Rod. So I just don't understand who gets what here. And RC is a little bit smooth. And then you look at Blur. He is not as noticeable as Cup or Hot Rod. There's levels to the greebling that they add. There's the Dinobots, then there's Cup and Hot Rod, and then there's something like Blur, where it's minimal, but they did add some extra details to him. Again, I don't know why, but I'm just pointing this out as something that is being done. Now, for me personally, I don't find it to be an issue. I just want to throw this out there before I cap off the video. I don't really find the greebling a big issue like certain people in the community have been pointing out to be in their own personal opinion the last couple years. I do see what people are saying, especially for hardcore G1 fans and, you know, you only collect the 86 line. You know, you're putting certain characters together. It's like, why does this character have more detail than the other? And the Dinobots are the best example of this. Again, I don't know if it's because they have extra room in the budget to add sculpted details because they're leader class and they're the Dinobots and they want to make sure they're as detailed as possible. I don't know. There's a multitude of examples you could throw out there as to why Hasbro's doing this. But I just want to make a video pointing it out and kind of discussing it with you guys because I know a lot of people behind the scenes in the community have been talking about this for a couple years. And it is kind of interesting to break down and discuss because certain characters get it, certain characters don't, and it's really random and luck of the draw. But you know, it's nothing bad to me. I do think it's a little odd, sure, and a little inconsistent with the subline, especially when you're going for movie accuracy and you're billing it and making these figures as accurate and best as possible to date in terms of chug redos. You would think they would want to get that level of detailing and cross-compatibility with each buy and release and character down pat. But I don't know. Again, it's not that big of an issue, just something that, at least in my opinion, it's not that big of an issue, just something to kind of talk about. And I know some people out there do actually find this a bit annoying, especially if you have OCD as a collector. I do get it, but I don't really think it's that big of a deal. It's kind of a nothing burger a little bit, but I wouldn't be surprised if they re-release some of these characters without all the extra surface details to say, hey, here's a figure that you could fit better with your Ultra Magnus or Thundercracker, you know? But yeah, guys, let me know down below, how do y'all feel about the sort of inconsistent details and greebling on the 86 line over the last few years? And yeah, guys, thank you for watching this video. Catch y'all in the next one. Bye!